Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? I'll just breathe in.
One of our favorite countries to travel, and one we get asked about a lot, is Mexico. So we decided to answer a few questions and hopefully inspire some of you guys to get out there and travel through one of our favorite countries.
One thing we always get asked about Mexico is it safe? And the answer is yes. We actually feel like it's a lot safer than our hometown here of Portland, Oregon. The majority of Mexico is actually pretty safe. There's some places up near the border and everything that is a little bit dodgier, you could say, because of like drug trafficking and things like that. But as long as you're safe.
We have a couple tips for being safe when riding through Mexico. Is one, don't ride at night. On unfamiliar roads, you can run into holes, people, or even lots of times we've seen livestock on the road. So it's definitely a good idea not to go out riding at night, especially if you're trying to push the days. Just when it gets dark, find a place to stay.
Tip number 2 is to try and avoid walking around at night in touristy areas, especially in like bar areas as well. That's a really good time for someone, a local, to take advantage of the situation. If you're drunk and walking home at night, that's like where you're most likely to get like robbed, pickpocketed, anything like that. So try to avoid those situations the most.
For the most part, Mexico is pretty safe. As long as you're trying to avoid trouble or staying out of trouble, usually it won't find you. You can go through all of Mexico and never have anything. The people there are incredibly nice, welcoming, and super friendly.
Another question that we get asked about a lot is the road conditions in Mexico. Mexico has some of the most beautiful roads we've ever seen. There's also lots of rough roads, of course, and you can find whatever you want to ride. So you could ride through all of Mexico on a sport bike, or, of course, like we have and do, you can do ADVs, dual sports. You can probably even cross it on a dirt bike.
One thing to look out for on Mexican roads is topes. Topes are speed bumps, and they are everywhere. You'll be going 60 miles an hour down a highway, and then all of a sudden, a speed bump.
Yep.
And if you're not paying attention, you can definitely get yourself into some trouble or break something, or many possibilities. One thing to think about with topes is they're usually around areas of population. So if you're coming close to a town or any kind of like bus stop area or a place where people get together, you'll probably run into topes. So keep an eye out of them and you'll keep yourself out of trouble.
Traffic in Mexico may seem crazy coming from the US, but really their style of driving is just a bit more aggressive. Everything there is done with a purpose, but people will almost always move to the right to get out of your way.
Another good thing about Mexico for motorcycles is lane filtering is legal and encouraged. So as a motorcycle, you almost never sit in traffic. Everybody just filters up to the front, and then you have a line of motorcycles in front of the light, and it makes things way nicer. One of our top tips is on where to stay, especially when you have a vehicle, a car, or a motorcycle, and you road through country Mexico. One of our favorite ways to find places to stay is Airbnb. It's a good way to meet locals, find cheap, awesome places to stay, and you can usually find one with private, secure parking, which is definitely a key.
One place often overlooked by travelers are love hotels. They get a bad rep because people think it's just a place for prostitution, but actually they're used for people that live in multi-generational homes. A couple wants to have an intimate night, but they don't want to do it around the rest of their family, their parents, their kids, whatever it may be. It's a place for couples to go and have an intimate space. But the nice thing about love hotels is that they almost always have private garages connected to your room. So that is one of the best things for motorcycle travelers, really all travelers, is you can bring your car into a secure parking lot, close that door, and you're secure in for the night.
Another way we find a lot of places to stay is using bookings.com or the app iOverlander. that is a super valuable resource for finding places from rooms, mechanics, gas stations, water, campsites, anything like that. So definitely a good recommendation. And our last, basically, advice is probably the best thing about Mexico, and that is the food. I would have to say Mexico has some of the best food in the world, and if you don't experience it, you're definitely missing out. There is always tons of grocery stores anywhere you can go that you can get basically any products that you can get back home. And so if you just want to grocery shop and cook for yourself, you can do that, but you're definitely missing out on one of Mexico's best things is street food, particularly tacos, elote, any tamales. There is so many varieties in different parts of Mexico, and it's really awesome to road trip through Mexico and experience all the different local delicacies for the different areas that you're in. But my favorite, definitely tacos.
Yep.
That's just some of our quick tips on Mexico. If you have any more questions, write them in the comments or send us a message.
And give this video a like and give our page a subscribe so you can see more videos like this in the future.